individual developers have written custom plugins to make your life easier. For example, I mean, we had so many features like social features, in-app purchases. We had to worry about making sure that all the GUI elements are implemented in the most optimized way and in the best possible way. So instead of worrying about all this right from scratch, what we did was we ended up buying almost like 5 or 6 plugins, which led us to concentrate on our gameplay more rather than these additional components. So that's one thing that went right. And yeah, the architecture was designed to reduce dependency between development and backend. So we always believed that if anyone in the production team can see the end result, he can always iterate in order to get better quality out of his output. So we wanted to make sure that this dependency was there. Previously what happens is an artist just used to produce content, and then for him to actually see how it ends up in the final game, it would take him almost months for the production to complete and the developers to actually have it implemented and all. But this gives you very less time to iterate in order to produce quality. So that is why we wanted to make sure that the tools are designed and the architecture is designed in such a way that any art asset that's being created is directly reflected into the game at that moment, and the artist can actually see the end result and iterate on it. So that's another thing. And yeah, and as I said earlier, our focus on extending the movie experience further and not over targeting towards making something extremely. We are not trying to compete with the best fighting games out there in the world. So we were just trying to extend the experience. That was our primary focus. So which helped us a lot. So because we compromised on a lot of features which would probably make a good fighting game. So, but it wouldn't have been achievable in the time we had. So, and then yeah, going with universal build for iTunes App Store is not major, but yeah, it's definitely something that helped us. A lot of people have, even if you take Angry Birds or any other major games, they have separate versions for different devices. This is because multiple reasons. One is, of course, they can get better quality based on the device which they are playing on, so they can provide a better experience. And at the same time, they would also give additional revenue opportunities for the developer. But in our case, we knew that this is not a huge project. It doesn't have a fan base, existing fan base that we are targeting. It doesn't, we are working on the project for the first time. So we were thinking more practical. So we wanted to make sure that every download that is happening, or every user that is, sorry, this is not phone, it was just an alarm. So I disabled the phone. So, yeah. So every user that downloaded the game, we wanted to make sure that he is in the same community as the rest of the users. So we didn't want to split the communities, so that our marketing efforts or anything is concentrated towards one community. So that is why we made sure that it's a universal build where there is only one app that user downloads for any device that it plays on, and then all our marketing efforts or any other efforts have been purely towards. It was reduced, and all the downloads that happened in different devices, they added in increasing the visibility of the app. So it was not split. So yeah, that went right there. So, and the iterative production process that focuses on communication within the team and functional builds with every iteration. So I think the company shifted to agile practices with this project for the first time. So where we were working in small iterations, where we had small targets for a week or two, and we always made sure that this target was oriented towards an end result which is playable. which the end user would experience, and not you as a developer saying, I have done this task, I have done this task. So we were always targeting as an end user experience. So every iteration that we worked for 2 weeks or so we wanted to target an end user experience so that you can iterate also. Like for example, if you don't start feeling the end user's experience right from the start, you get less time to iterate in order to enhance this. So that is why we made sure that it's always there's always a build which does some activity or the other, whether it's playing the game or probably some other functionality. So yeah, and we always used to have daily Scrum meets where we made sure that everyone knew what is happening in the project. So everyone is aware of things, or any problems or issues can be addressed right in there. So yeah, so that worked out. That helped us a lot in making sure that we are always on track, and any issues were noticed earlier than later. So then frequent release of content and feature updates based on user feedback. As you saw previously, we did release a lot of updates. I mean, not a lot, but quite a few. So this helped us retain the user who has initially downloaded the main app. So this helped us users appreciate the effort that we put in continuing the game further, extending the game further. So this also helped a lot, and this helped a lot, especially in the in-app conversions also. Like if we can retain more users for a longer time, so obviously additional content that we can give is being is being marketed to almost all these users that are still live, who haven't deleted your game. So that's one of the reasons most of these mobile games try to keep constant communication with the end user. So quickly iterating on our strategy, as we learn more about Android platform. So this, what happened with Android was, when we actually targeted an Android platform, we were going with a simple model of just selling the game for a certain amount of money and hoping that users would download. But this was not the case. I mean, our knowledge of industry was quite low at that time. So where Android users were primarily looking at, most of the users are used to downloading free content. Used to downloading a lot of free content and then experiencing it before making a decision whether they want to spend money or not. So as soon as what we did was we switched the entire game into a different model, where the game, the basic experience of the game is given for free, and then if he wants to extend it further, he would have to go through spending money for that. So if you see the previous slide, so in Android, when we went this is the figures are opposite. So when we went paid, in 4.5 months, we had 60,000 downloads when we went paid initially at the launch. But as we learned about it, so we switched the model, we re-architected the game a bit, and went into completely free mode. So then within 2.5, actually within a month, we hit 1 million. So, but since the entire game was not designed in an endless manner, it was basically designed as a fixed content where you play through it and then it finishes after a certain time. So we were not able to retain that interest further from the Android users. So that is why it has reduced a bit. Considering, after the launch. So totally we have around 1.5 million users right now on Android free version. So, all these points definitely added a lot. I would say these are the ones who, which helped us in achieving whatever we achieved. It is not defined as success if you consider it with international standards, but for us, for where we were and where we are today, it is definitely successful. So, What could have been better? Yeah. So if you notice the previous slide, I wrote one producer slash game designer. That's we didn't have an experienced game designer or even a game designer for that matter dedicated to this project. So I ended up working on the game design along with the other members in the team. So because of which, I mean, my experience on designing fighting games is extremely low. This is the first game I ever designed. I mean, first fighting game I ever designed. So an experienced game designer would have definitely made a huge difference right from the start in what we are developing or anything of that sort. Because I mean, these guys understand the end user in detail. I mean, what he would enjoy at what moment, his interest levels would be high, low. So all that statistics, all that information would, would be captured by these guys and reflected in the features of the game, the content of the game. So yeah, so this is one thing that where we missed completely. Then we did not scope out the Android development efforts well in the start. So we thought it was, the efforts would be very minimal, but it was not the case. iOS, the whole platform was designed in such a way. There are only very few variants, and there is a common hardware architecture and everything like that. So everything was kept common by the Apple guys. So making sure that it is easy both for the developers and the end user what to pick, which device to buy, or even what to develop for that device, or anything of that sort. Whereas in Android, Google decided to go completely. They wanted to reach a heavy user base, high user